All right. Hello, welcome to the Well, Maria from Bloom and Angela from Grounded Dreamers. So we have a great reading as usual. First, let's pause and circle up at your inner well as your well here symbolically in our space. Just tune in and find something that you're grateful for. Anchor that gratitude in your being. And then let's open up to our reading, which as usual will be a mini journey of healing and uplifting as usual. So
yes, we're always on the journey of creating and healing.
totally.
And so now we have bring something to mind that you want to achieve. This is either a project, a goal, a move, a new career, something within that you want to achieve, like to create new habits, do away with old ones, whatever that is. Keep that in mind as we read this. We're on our way to our goal. And the first card I pulled is soothing and patience. So at some point, we get frustrated sometimes when we're working on, we're tracking ourselves toward a final outcome, and we get impatient. And with that impatience card, I pulled this card, the Mule. And it says, someone is extremely stubborn. I love that, because when I think that, I think, oh, Angela. Someone is extremely stubborn, like me. And unwilling to change. So that is a signal, right? When you start feeling that frustration or that impatience or that, oh, why can't I get, that's resistance. And when you start feeling that, of course, the universe, the cards that came next is our response to that feeling of impatience. And it is reflection. It's pause, breathe, look and see how far you've come, reflect on that, reflect on how you're feeling now at this point in your progress and what you feel, will be needed going forward. It's a clear direction from the universe to take that time when the energy gets too amped up, because it won't do us any good to go spinning out. So pause and reflect, and then get in touch with your determination. This is the card of the salmon. The salmon, they're this is kind of just saying you're in it for the long haul. You're on the right path. Your willpower will get you through any obstacles. The salmon is particularly,
and that was the determination card, the salmon card.
Yeah.
So the determination.
Yeah,
exactly.
Determination. Yeah. They move from fresh water where they spawn to ocean. They go live in the ocean, but then they end up migrating back to their original spawning ground, which is usually a more treacherous journey.
And they have to,
upstream. It's usually upstream, a lot of obstacles, other creatures, and they go there basically to die. But it's the cycle of their life. But that trip back is very important for, it kind of represents your hard-won achievement. So the determination that you put into gear, this resolve that you reestablish, comes after the reflection. It comes after the impatience and then the reflection, and then it's like, okay, I'm regathered now, I'm realigned, I'm ready to go forward again. And that's your sort of real world relationship to your path forward. And then we also have the spiritual connection, using your higher power, using the collective, knowing that your guides are there, knowing that your instinct is carrying you forward with the help of other energies. That is sort of the double whammy. You've got the grounded earthling determination to make that goal, but also bring your higher self into it, because it adds more fullness to the journey. And it keeps you more on track with what's right for you, with your own alignment as you travel toward the end, toward your final result. And then I mentioned instinct, and I also pulled it. I pulled the wolf. Being able to pause and reflect and realign helps you to open up, the third eye and create the energy you need, and the the instinct comes through. It's like, a lot of times when we're using too much mental energy, we miss the instinct, we miss that intuition, because we're crowding our mind with what ifs, why couldn't I, should haves,
Right.
and all that.
All that clutter, right? All that brain clutter, reasons, and
it creates a lot of clutter, and that clutter is also resistance. So
absolutely.
we need to make sure we're breathing that out. After the instinct, I got centering, which is, it's this, so far this reading has come like up and down from to reflect, and then it keeps reminding us to get grounded, be centered in our own being.
Well, it's also like go out, but then come back into center, right?
Like, you can see those little spheres.
Exactly.
Yeah. They radiate out, but then it's also, there is a central point where the focus is. Yeah. Then I pulled two cards, two rainbow cards, blessings, just knowing that this one actually says that the most difficult part is over. It's almost like, you can see the pot at the end of the rainbow or whatever, but the early part of it, whatever this is you've been achieving, was when you got most of the work done. You got the planning and the plotting and the outlines and whatever it is, the intention set, and now you're kind of writing out the journey. But it doesn't come without stops and starts. It doesn't come without obstacles, right? And so this is our way of getting back on track. And then the last card I pulled is the boar, victory. And this is, two things about this. The boar represents power. It's ready for battle. It's ready to go against the obstacles, but it's also adaptive. So it's not just saying, I'm going to use all my power. Boars are foragers. With their diet and what they eat, they're adaptive and they're versatile, and they work with what they have. And that's the energy here. And the other thing about this card is that it empowers the cards around it. So this is like sort of like an extra exclamation point on your path toward your goal. It's like, you got this, stay adaptable, stay determined and adaptable. Really the key.
Stay determined and adaptable. Totally. And the rainbow blessings, right? So let's be with this. Stay determined and be adaptable. Love that. So let's all pause and be with that reading. And take a moment to really take to heart soothing any impatience that might be kind of alive in your system or your field. Just take a deep breath in. And just ask for space inside, and that which is aware of the part of me that's impatient. And bring some breath to that part of you. And then center into your heart space. Align with your instincts. And take another deep breath in. Take a moment to clear any clutter that might be energetically in your head, in your mind, in your field. Just send that clutter out into the ethers to be transmuted. And take a moment to align your energetic body with the colors of the rainbow. Whatever that means to you. And calling in gold and light down through your crown, and just let that support clearing that energetic clutter. And let's move into the second part of the reading and begin to ask yourself, what's my intention this week? To stay focused and determined and adaptable. And what's my intention this week?
All right. So yes, as we're on our way, we're still working our way through. in this endeavor, whatever it is for us, if it's sort of more esoteric or it's more real world. And I got the spider. This is reminding you to weave yourself into being, into this endeavor. Make sure your own imagination and your own flair, and the core of who you are is part of this creation. It's the best way to connect with others is to be authentic.
Absolutely. The core of who you are.
And if this doesn't involve others, if this isn't like a project or something that you want to develop within yourself, that's a no-brainer. The best way to do that is to be yourself, right? Is to make sure your wishes and dreams and your desires are woven into your plan. Okay, then I got perspective. And this is an opportunity to remind us that when something isn't working the exact way we thought we wanted it to, a shift in perspective helps. We're all this way because as humans, we're trained, set a goal, here's the steps, reach the goal. And then life gets in the way. And then, an obstacle comes through. And then maybe you lose a connection with someone you thought was going to help you move, whatever. But that shouldn't take everything down. It shouldn't tumble you down. It shouldn't, deflate your whole purpose. If you just shift your outlook, shift your perspective a little, it helps. And luckily, the universe provided the next card, which is telling us exactly what perspective to take. And I pulled the childhood card. And this is your, through innocent eyes, through fresh eyes, as if you've never heard of this endeavor before and you really didn't know the steps that were plotted out. But where I am in this moment, how do I see myself proceeding in the most simple, clear way? With that, I pulled the quill card, which says, get back to the basics. So it's like, wash away, all of that sort of, like we said, as we become adults, we get a little jaded, think we know more than we, and all that. And that's okay. That's ego. And that's great because that helps drive us through things. But we're not always 100% correct. And sometimes we need to wash away the jade and utilize, a fresh outlook. And that in turn creates the next step, which is heart opening. So being able to back down and kind of go, okay, let me just pretend this is the first time I'm even thinking of this. What is my perspective now? I've gotten this far. I've got that far to go. What's the simplest method forward? And that creates a heart opening. That creates that, it helps your inner being align with it more by being receptive, by being open. And then once your heart's open, I got the summer solstice, the radiance, and this is your full being shining through on your path forward. This is like, I'm going to let my intentions radiate out from me and let the innocence and the love and the pure creativity that I have within me. I'm going to let that shine from my being as I move forward toward the rest of my goal. Then we get reminded of, with the traveling card, that it's a journey. It's not going to be a straight line, right? This journey with the sun and the distance being the goal, it's not a straight line. It's not obvious, right?
Right.
There's points where you fall in the ditch and you're shrouded by clouds and you can't really see the path forward.
Discouraged.
But, and if you look back though, you've seen, I've kind of been on this terrain this whole time. It's okay. It's part of the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got the elephant, which says a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. And I pulled wisdom to go with it. So it sort of bridges. I love how these come out. It sort of bridges these two cards.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That journey is worth it.
Totally.
And your wisdom and your the maturity that you have in your soul is the higher self is going to help get you there. And then the last two cards I got success, of course. That comes right over the victory card too. It came right over it. So it's kind of like your outcome. And then the beetle, which stands for good fortune. So, you know, you're on your way to this achievement, whatever it is, and making sure to weave in your true self, your authentic self, and let that be known as you're moving toward whatever this is. And, you know, this radiance, when I'm saying, you know, let yourself shine through, if this is something like we said before, that's more internal, you know, be in touch with that is all. You don't have to, it doesn't have to land on anyone. Here's my radiance. But be in touch with that. Be in touch with that light that's within you.
It's that gold at the end of the rainbow, that, you know, cliche sort of, but that's symbolic of the journey. And there's going to be different phases and different vibrations and different colors in that journey. And at the end of that journey is the wisdom, right? Symbolic by the gold is symbolic.
Which is also rainbows too, by the way.
Exactly.
Rainbows, yeah.
And the journey, you know, the one that had the mountains, the journey at the end, that golden sun, and then the summer solstice came through reading, and the other, exactly. It's like all, if you know, last month our challenge was dwell on what we love. And I feel like as we're going through our journey and our experience, it's so important to remember to dwell on the bigger perspective, the bigger picture. Yeah, I'm going through something really hard right now, but I'm going to get through it. And if I look back, I can see my growth. And if we have that, like the spirit of the salmon, you know, the strength comes through the struggle and the challenge. And then the wisdom of the elephant, right? That's what we're
if you ever get to a point where you feel I can't go on, don't for now.
Rest.
Right.
It's
just
okay.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Just rest. It's okay.
This is where timelines for our goals, if they're external goals like that, can frustrate us, because I like, you know, general timelines. I know it's nice to set a date. This is the
soothing impatience part.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. This is relevant to that.
That's what that's what started the whole thing, right? And
exactly.
We could set a date for a goal, a hard date. And sometimes, you know, in work situations, we kind of have to, if we have deadlines and stuff, and we drum up the stress needed to get ourselves through it, right? The activity. But when it's something personal, or if you're creating a new business or moving to a new home or leveling up in your relationship, whatever that is, putting a timeline on that is an obstacle. It is an obstacle, because
it can be, for sure.
It can be, yeah. And the ease of saying, I see the outcome and I'm on my way to that, and it will be generally, you know, mid next year or whatever. That's a little more easy feeling than May 28th. I have to have this done. You add stress to it. So, you know, I know everything can't be done that way, but mostly
I think it's a balance of like the ego and the soul holding hands. I always think about it like that. And it's a balance. I think having a target date, like, okay, by this date, I'm going to target to complete this project or whatever it is. And then you align towards that. And if you get towards it and you realize, oh, I need a little bit more time, or if I really dig deep and strive, I can do this, right? It's okay to pause. It's okay to rest. It's like the way of the turtle, balanced, with which comes through a lot. But I love the weaving theme that came through this reading today too, with the spider card, right? Yeah. I love that, right? Create. The process of creation is not a linear process. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2, and that's that. It's not like that. Creativity is not like that. And so sometimes we don't know what we're going to know, or we don't know what we're going to want to be or do or say. You know, it's like we just have to be open to the weaving. There may be a template that we have in mind, you know, and the other thing I love about that create card is the sacred geometry of a spider web. It's such a sacred process. Creating that journey.
And creativity is like the ultimate self-expression. So in this moment, this is how I see it, this is how I'm feeling, but that shifts too as you move along the line. So having that flow and being able to shift with it, it's important to to keep us aligned and to lessen our frustration along the way.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, beautiful. Let's pause and be with this reading as usual and just take a moment to reflect, which was one of the cards that came through. What are you creating? Holding on to your determination, staying adaptable, holding that bigger perspective in your journey, keeping your eye on the goal, the success. And create your intention for this week. And also be sure to check out our other video that we're going to create for our September challenge. Our new thing. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much.